Next up is Salma MAKKAR.
Okay, so my topic is the practicality of cloning. I believe that cloning and its research should not be continued as it is impractical for three main reasons. Firstly, the large ratio of failed to successful clonings. It's very hard to actually produce a clone. Secondly, the disadvantages surrounding the few successfully cloned animals. The few animals that are cloned are generally very defective. And thirdly, the cost. And this is a picture of a dog and its clone. The difficulty of creating a clone. Very few attempts to create a clone end successfully. Somatic cell nuclear transfer is an extremely complicated and difficult process with many steps. Firstly, the donor cell is removed, and then the egg cell is removed from a different animal. The nucleus is removed and from the cell and inserted into the egg cell. And an electric shock causes the cell to divide into an embryo, which is then implanted into a surrogate mother, who will give birth to that embryo. At every single one of these steps, there's a very high chance of something going wrong. I mean, think about how complicated each of those steps actually is. This entire process, all this time, effort, and money to attempt to create an animal which would probably be defected anyway, I don't think it's really worth it. My next main point is the disadvantages of the actually cloned animals. Cloned animals usually don't live as long as normal animals. For example, Dolly the sheep here died after 7 years. Also, a group of cloned cattle died within hours of their birth, and those are just a few examples. Some animals cloned by SCNT also displayed organ abnormalities, for example, the previously mentioned cattle. And also, clones have a tendency to harbor genetic defects. On that topic, some clones have major deregulations of multiple genes. Some genes are not correctly expressed. Also, genes taken from adults are likely to have been mutated. And this can cause genetic defects, which disrupt an organism's development and can lead to abnormalities. And this can cause several serious issues such as these, and this would be an example of obese mice.
I want to know these guys.
Yeah, same here.
Also, cloning is very bad for the genetic diversity of the species. Cloning has the same effect as inbreeding, and the inbreeding of animals often results in reduced variations of that species, and also it would result in an even higher chance of genetic defects. My last main point is the great cost of cloning. Firstly, it's very expensive. The scientists who cloned the first human embryo wanted to eventually use clonings as therapy for diseases such as AIDS and Parkinson's. But therapeutic cloning is expensive, is a lot more expensive than even the most expensive drugs. Also, cloning requires human egg cells, and human egg cells are extremely expensive. For example, fertilization clinics usually pay egg donors $3,000 to $5,000, and in New York, the state stem cell board allows researchers to pay women up to $10,000, and that's just for 10 eggs. I mean, think about the number of eggs that were used to try and attempt to clone Dolly. There's also the cost paid by the egg donors, the women. The women have to go through a process of weeks of hormone injections and drugs to stop their ovaries and then put their ovaries into overdrive. And then the process to extract the eggs is extremely painful and dangerous. The entire process is very, very dangerous to the woman, and also this is just to create 10 eggs. And yeah, that's it. Finished.